Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today for a new investment opportunity that I'm particularly excited about. I think I've been following Bonapp since before it was an idea or before it was a company. So I'm very happy to be able to work together with the team in participating in this pre-seed extension round. And we have together with us so today the CEO of Bonapp, Diego, and Gregoire, also an early co-founder, and Cristian Montano from Early Game, who is an early believer in the company from the pre-seed round. So without further ado, I'll just invite each and every one of them just to one quick sentence to introduce themselves, just to associate a face to with the names, and then I'll invite the team to go through their deck. And as usual, please address any of your questions in the Q&A part of the webinar. So guys, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. We really appreciate. For the presentation of our founders, we will go through it during the presentation of the deck, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
Cristi?
Okay, then just a few words about myself. Cristian Montano, managing partner, Early Game Ventures. Early Game is the typical early stage venture capital fund, active in Romania, invest in early stage companies, pre-seed and seed. Of course, we follow up at the Series A. We build a portfolio of 28 companies in the 4 years of active investment, and happy to be one of the first investors in Bonapp.
Thank you so much. And also, I think we've collaborated on several companies already so far. So a lot of
the last one, the most recent one, was licensed not that far ago.
Exactly. So I think a lot of our investors will also remember and recognize the name. So without further ado, I'll invite just the guys to go through their deck. Thank you.
My screen right now.
So here we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for your interest in Bonapp.eco. We like the .eco because we're an impact startup, we're an impact company. So let's start with the most important thing within our organization, which is the team. I'm going to say a few words about Lucas Ivkovic, French creation, background as a food tech entrepreneur. He also has some corporate background. We're working with TELUS. And our bright CEO, Diego Roy-de-la-Chaise, who came actually in the first place with the idea of launching Bonapp. He has very complementary skills, multi-skills in different areas, starting with finance, operations, and tech. He is the most multi-skilled business partner that I ever had. I'm not going to speak about myself. Maybe you can say a few words about me.
So I don't need even to present Grégoire Vigreault, very famous entrepreneur. 4 exits to date. One of the most impressive is the exit of Callpoint that he sold to TELUS. Today, TELUS, it's 3,000 employees in Romania, 4,000 employees in Bulgaria. So he has been teaching me so many things. Thank you.
Very lucky, and I'm very lucky still because apart from my business partner, we have a very strong team of 7 people. So 7 people plus us 3 co-founders, we are a team of 10. So what is the problem that we are addressing? Actually, it's something that has been a concern for us as citizens before being a concern for us as entrepreneurs, is the fact that there is way too much food waste. If you're looking at a country like Romania, it's more than 5 million tons of food that is thrown away every year. And not only it's a pity, but it's also the fact that it has consequences, very bad consequences on the environment, because 10% of the global CO2 emissions are caused by food waste, according to WWF. And the problem here and the paradox here is the fact that 40% of the money for Romanian households is devoted to food and beverages. And things are not getting better and better, because with inflation, the problem is one of the primary categories of products that has high inflation is food and beverages. It's more than 18% between 2021 to 2022. So what is our simple yet efficient and user-friendly solution to address these issues? Well, it's basically a mobile application, and I really recommend everyone here to download the application Bonapp.eco on your phone. And basically, this mobile application is going to connect users, people like you and me, to food retailers, including gas station, hotels, restaurants, coffee shop, bakeries, grocery stores, and of course, a big chain of supermarkets and hypermarkets. and we are going to tell you a few names a bit later on. So we basically are a mobile application, and we act as a marketplace. One mission, which is very simple. We want to be a solution for consumer, a win for the planet, and a win for retailers.
Thank you, Greg. So how does it work? For the end user goes to the mobile application. The mobile application acts like a marketplace. The end users choose like one product he wants to buy. There is no cash involved. All payments are going through the application, and we are not doing any delivery. It's only pickup. How does it work for the partner? For the partner, one thing we understood, and it's very important, partners are very busy all day. So how do we do? It's we know that a partner has like maybe like 40 euros of waste at the end of the day. We put like a 50% discount at least for this like 40 euros. So on these 20 euros left, we say, okay, that means like you can basically post on our mobile application 6 boxes like on a daily basis. And like we are automatizing this process, but we made like the application very easy to use for our partners. For retailers, we add like a additional layer, which is a step in regarding our competition. We have like a CSV importation. What is like the CSV importation is that for retailers, what we realize, it's very easy for them to extract all the products which are close to expire in the next 2-3 days from their warehouse management system or the waste management system. They give us the list in an Excel file, and then we import automatically this list in the application, and therefore like the end user here can buy product by product in the application. So the benefits for our partners, because it's very important for our partners like to go and join Bonapp. In our marketplace, we have a balance between offer and demand, and today we have too much demand for not enough offers. So what are the benefits for our partners to join the application? First of all, we conducted a survey last summer, and we realized that 25% of our users are doing an additional purchase in the application, and in general for a value higher than what they bought on Bonapp. So partners are very happy that having additional traffic and that these users like are buying more at full price in the location. Also, how we manage to onboard blue chip partners, large and big retailers here in Romania, it's by the profit we are addressing to them. So, for instance, if I give the example of hypermarket, which is doing 150,000 visits on a monthly basis, they are doing in general between 5 million and 7 million euros in terms of revenue. But the profit, it's only between 2% and 6%. What we guarantee, because we have the data and we are working already with large partners, is that with 40 boxes sold a day per location, they can do like an additional 150,000 euros in profit at the end of the year. So it's instead of wasting the food, we are like bringing them like additional revenue. So what is the total market in Romania for food loss? It's 1.3 billion euros. The market is huge. What we plan to target from this market, it's 158 million euros. And this is like the minimum that Bonapp can actually like tackle in our combat with food waste. So today, as like the 28th of February, we have almost 700 locations who join like the combat against food waste with Bonapp. Among them, we have Penny, La Doipage, we have Cora, and also we have like very strategic partners, Starbucks, TED, Domino, and Tucano, and many more to come. When I say many more to come, it's like we are in discussion with like a lot of blue chip partners and large retailers here in Romania. Among them, I can say Profi, Mega Image, Auchan, Carrefour, Frou, Nestlé. So we hope to have them on board this year. So by end of this year, we plan to have like at least 1,300 locations working with Bonapp in Bucharest and Cluj. So today, in terms of traction, we are doing 28,000 euros in terms of GMV for a net revenue of almost 6,000 euros. So today, you can see that we had a decrease in December and January. Our solution is impacted by seasonality. So due to 2 effects during the winter, it's December. All of our partners are busy with the Christmas period, and in January, in general, they order less less food than originally, because they want the consumer market it's a bit lower. Nevertheless, from February, in February, we had a 38% growth, and we plan to still continue in that cap, adding 30% growth month over month in order to reach profitability by Q4 of this year. And that means our target is 30,000 euros on a monthly basis. What's our projection? As I was saying, profitability, it's our main focus by end of this year. And by end of 2024, we expect to have like 8 million euros in terms of GMV, or 1 million euro in terms of annual revenue for 2024. This is the objective, an achievable objective with a 30% growth month over month. In terms of downloads, today we have 100,000 downloads in the application. So as I was mentioning before, it's a matter of having a balance between demand and offer. And to cope with all the offers we hope to have like by the end of this year and 2024, we need 1.3 million downloads by end of 2024 to make sure that we can address all the offers that will be available in our marketplace. In terms of competition, we have 2 international players, FoodTech, which is the biggest one, with present in 17 countries. They extended in United States last year, and they are focusing on the North American market. They are doing 100 million euros in annual revenue, and Phoenix, a French player present in 5 countries in Europe. In the regional market, where we plan to be the leaders, we have FoodTech from Bulgaria, who raised 350,000 euros, Savables, which are like only in Timișoara, through a web app and raised 80,000 euros, and Monk, who are like Hungarian, they expanded in Czech Republic and raised 1 million euros with business angels. We really believe like we can be, and we will be the main actor in the region. So what we achieved in the last 15 months, so we have a strong team and processes. The team, which is like with Bonapp at the moment, has more than 1 year, is more than 1 year in Bonapp. Our processes are strong. As I was saying, we have automation of the processes. We understand how our retailers work. We understand how our partners work. And now it's just a term of execution. Also, we closed deals with almost 700 locations, including like this year, La Doipaș and Metro that has been signed. What we want to achieve like before the end of the year is, of course, reach profitability, Q4 2023, finish the full automatization of the posting process for partners, and have like strong use case with large retailers. So today we are farming Penny, Cora, and La Doipaș to make sure that we can capture as much potential as we can for these retailers.
About this round, because actually it's the extension of a pre-seed round that started with 3 VCs and actually a corporate VC. Thank you so much, by the way, Christian, because you've been trusting our company and us founders day one. Thank you so much for that. So actually we raised 800,000 euros from this pre-seed round, and now we need some additional cash in order to reach profitability, as Diego said, that is going to be happening in Q4 this year. So that was about this investment history that we had, and what's the amount that we are intending to raise on SeedBlink today is 225,000 euros. So why do we need to, what do we want to choose a SeedBlink rather than any other type of investor? Well, because actually, in our DNA, we are a very community-oriented company that relies on the community of users. And in the way we do business, for those of you who listen to this presentation, you know the way we do business. So because we are inclusive and community-oriented, it's very important for us to enlarge this idea, enhance this idea of having a community of people that have today the possibility to own shares, to own equity in our company. Thanks to this investment of 225K, we are going to reach a post-money valuation of 3.52 million.
Greg here. So the founders are very committed to Bonapp, as we brought 35,000 euros ourselves this round. plus 40,000 euros already committed also from business angels.
Yeah, so indeed, thank you, Diego. The three founders, we are all reinvesting money on this round because we remain confident about the future of this company and extremely bullish. This is how we are going to use the money. Of course, there is a part which is related to the technology because there are some new features that we want to develop in order to make this app even more matching the needs of our users and, of course, the use of the needs of our partners that are the retailers. And basically, that's it. What I would really strongly recommend before we start the Q&A is that for those who get excited about Bonapp.eco, if you didn't use the mobile app yet, please, on your device, you find Bonapp.eco, you start using the application today so that you will feel exactly what is to be like a Bonapp user, and you will have a much better than everything that we discussed so far. Thank you so much, everyone, for your interest. And happy to listen to the questions that people might have.
Thank you so much, both of you, for the presentation. So I think we already have a question. It's a user experience one related to the fact that how the sign-in method. I think it's the fact that probably a year ago when you first started, you were only doing sign-ins with Facebook, and apparently this investor is not a fan of Facebook. So I think the question is, from a user like sign-in perspective, how is it actually functioning at this point in time?
Signing in the application, indeed, you have the possibility to sign in with Facebook, but also just by entering your email address. So we are giving the choice to our end users to subscribe with two different ways. Okay.
I think that cleared the question. So I think my initial question to you guys is, what made you start Bonapp? And I think that's, I mean, what's this garage story behind the company, and where are you passionate? I mean, you covered this about the problem that you're solving, but I think it's important to understand why you're passionate about it.
First of all, I wanted also to be an entrepreneur. I have a passion for food tech. And I remember when I was a student in Paris, I was using Too when they just started, and I say like, that's an amazing solution. When I came like to Romania, I worked for KPMG 2.5 years, and I say like, it's not possible that this kind of solution doesn't work, doesn't exist even. So I say, okay, I have to do something here. I remember like this very famous French entrepreneur, Grégoire Vigroux, who everybody was speaking about, and I sent an email to Grégoire, hey Grégoire, can we have lunch together? And after that lunch with Grégoire, 2 days after, I gave my resignation to KPMG, and we started Bonapp.
All right, thank you. I think that's a nice story. And now switching a bit the perspectives on the discussion, I'd like to ask Christy what first convinced you to invest in Bonapp, and I think what were the, let's say, I don't know, 3 main reasons why you invested in Bonapp 1 year ago?
I would give you more than 3 reasons, but I would start by saying that generally the founders have a lot of control over their startup, right? But there are 2 things that the founders cannot control, and these things are timing and market. And what happens with Bonapp, as a matter of fact, these are the strongest points for them, because let's take timing first of all in relation to market still. We are heading, if we are not already, in an economic downturn. And what happens in an economic downturn is that people don't spend that much. And the more affected people, the badly impacted people, are the low-income people. Bonapp provides these people with the ability, with the opportunity to buy food at discounted prices. So in our vision as investors, we think that Bonapp is a perfect tool and is very well positioned as a company for the hard times ahead. But Bonapp is not only relevant to the low-income people, because the high-income, educated, urban people are using Bonapp for a completely different reason. They are using Bonapp to have a positive impact, right, in the society, on the planet, to fight the food waste. So practically all kinds of people are interested and are users of the application. In my mind, also, is not only because Bonapp is a marketplace, and as in any marketplace, there must be an exchange of value taking place in the app. So we have people buying food on one hand, and we see pretty straightforward that these people are interested to use the app. And on the other hand, we have the corporations that are the partners of Bonapp. And by investing with the 800,000 euro that the group of investors poured into the company, the founders made a lot of progress, and also they made what we consider to be the necessary mistakes. For example, they understood who the right partners are, because I remember that in the early days of the company, they were bringing all kind of small bakeries or small restaurants on the platform, right? And what happened in the months that passed since the first stage of the investment happened is that they switched their mindset, and now they are onboarding the big retailers, the Carrefours of this market. And for people trying to find good food at affordable prices, Carrefour is much more relevant than some fancy restaurant in Floreasca or in Dorobanți, right? So I think that they use the money from the investors, and it's not that Early Game was the only investor, but Roca X and the Hungarian fund Impact Venture were also part of the round, as well as Up Romania, the corporation. So the founders with the money from the first investors made a lot of progress and made the mistakes that they learned from. And this is very, very important, because now the investors joining at the second stage of the investment have a company that has been already de-risked, right? And you can also see that the level of risk decreased, because the target of the company from this addition to the round is in fact to get the break-even point. So in my mind, I think that the case is pretty convincing, but I'm here to also answer any kind of other questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. I think it was a great also perspective around the history of financing, also about the company. The different type of question would be rather related to competition, and I know that you have a competition slide, and probably that the one that you mentioned are not in the same geographies present as you are, but the question is also related to the future, is how do you see the differentiator of Bonapp, not only on a local level, but also on the let's say European scale?
Cristiano, or this is for Diego? Sorry.
Yeah.
This is for, I think, for Diego, because I think he's the person to answer.
Thank you, Eric. So as Christy mentioned, like very well, it's a marketplace. It's like the offer we can give like to the customers. And I think this is very important if you want to attract customers and have a positive network effect. You need to have the offers which are like as sexy as possible for the users. So this is why from day one in Bonapp, we decided like that we are not gonna go below 50% discounts with all of our partners. And this is how we like plan to beat on a first phase, like our competitors in the region, because they all allow discounts at 40%. So we are pretty sure by building the right processes and the right discounts and the right offering for the customers, it will be very easier for us to go and penetrate other markets where our competitors is. The second point on how we think we're gonna beat like our competition, it's thanks to our like blue chip partners and the large retailers. Why? Because for instance, Penny has, which we are already working with them, and we have a very strong trust relationship with them. They are like present in Bulgaria, and they are like pushing us like to go as soon as possible in these markets. It's the same with Starbucks. Even if we didn't sign with Mega Image like already like made an offer that they would like to start even before in Serbia. So we know by closing these deals and like establishing like a trust relationship with these important partners, and this is like where the switch of Bonapp has been made, they would help us like to have very relevant offers, processes on the countries like in the region.
Okay, and I think that
I would also like to answer the same question, but from a different perspective, if I may.
Please do.
Okay. Okay, so what happens with companies like Bonapp with this kind of business model is that they have as core operations, right? So it's not like the core is technology. The company is not licensing very fancy technology to other business companies, business partners. It's not financial, but it's operation, because there is a lot of work that we do not see in the backstage. Bonapp is dealing with the retailers, with Cora, with Carrefour. They are doing trainings for the employees of Cora and Carrefour in order to have the employees use the application. So there is a lot of things behind which we do not see. And it is very difficult for a competitor that also has operation at its core to enter a new market where a company is already present and active there. And just imagine that you represent, I don't know, a French company in the same sector, and you try to enter the Romanian market. And then you go and discuss with one big retailer that is already working with Bonapp, and that already passed the entire process. The employees are already using, and they have already been trained about the process of Bonapp. It's very difficult to replace one company with the other, and it's even more difficult to work with two such suppliers, two such partners. So, and this is not only for Bonapp, but it's valid for any company that has operations at its core. Operations are awful. They are so difficult to put in place. At the same time, operations build barriers that the competitors will find very difficult to get rid of. I just wanted to add this because I think it's important.
No, I think that's a very relevant point in how Bonapp is building defensibility around the markets that they're present in, and I think this is also somehow brings me to a next point that I mean I've heard related to exit potentials, in the sense that you mentioned some large names, the Too Good To Go's of the world, the Phoenix of the world, and Christy's comment related to what would happen if they would like to enter Romania, for instance, or what if, or Bulgaria in the next 2 years when you'll be present in Bulgaria. So I think that's a question that I think is interesting to address.
One of our principles in business is to discuss with competition. Before we even launched Bonapp.eco, we were already discussing with Too Good To Go, for example, the CEO of Too Good To Go, with the VP International of Too Good To Go, with the head of acquisition of Too Good To Go. I'm not saying that we are going to start the company now. I mean, we have a beautiful highway to build a big and beautiful regional company. What I'm saying here is that by discussing with those big players like Too Good To Go, like Phoenix, from day one and even before day one, it gives us also visibility on their plans in the region. Because we have managed to build this relationship, we speak openly. And I'm telling you, those players are not going to come to Romania on the short term, which gives us the possibility to tap this huge untapped market.
Thank you for that. And the next question that I'm having is related to the next 10-12 months, is essentially what are the, I think this is question first for Diego, and then also from an investor perspective, but what are the main objectives? I mean, I understand profitability, but how does that translate into, let's say, operational KPIs that you're hoping to achieve with this funding? And how does also the future of fundraising of Bonapp potentially look like in the next 12 to 18 months?
I'm going to answer your first question, and the second question about the investment, I will let Grégoire speak about it. So in terms of operations, in such a marketplace like Bonapp, we need, so as I mentioned twice during the presentation, the bottleneck is the number of offers. The focus is to bring as many partners and as many locations as possible in Bonapp, in the two cities we are in, Cluj and Bucharest. But also it comes from a second point of view, it's farming the accounts. Because as Christy mentioned like correctly, it's like the operational focus that we need to have with the large accounts, it's very strong. We need to adapt our operations to each one of the retailers. Why? Because they have different systems, they have different like organizations, they have different ways to see the things. So we know that like by farming these big accounts, the potential it's huge in terms of like offering that we can bring Bonapp.
On the next round, so I believe that the next round is a seed round. Is going to happen in Q4 this year. We will be in a very, very good condition because, as we said earlier, we plan to be profitable when this happens. So most probably, of course, it will need to be discussed with our friends, Christian and the other pre-seed investors that we have, or historic investors, but most probably the pre-money valuation should be in the range of 5 million euro, and we will be looking to raise 1.4 to 1.5 million euros so that we can expand regionally. Bulgaria, Hungary, Greece, which are also very promising markets. And as Diego mentioned earlier, and I think it's very important, we already have those requests. Mega Image in Serbia, Penny and Starbucks in Bulgaria. They really want to push it, but we don't want to rush, right? We want to do things properly. We want to have the best application in the world. We want to have those stronger, because we are still learning, of course, all the time. So once we have the money and we consider that we are fully ready, we expand across the region, so we become a regional player and not only a startup.
Christy, what's also your perspective as an investor? I mean, what do you want to see as an investor from Bonapp in the next 12 months?
Well, I think that there is something very important in what Diego said. He said that they will focus in the next 10 months on building the supply side, practically the number of offers available in the app. Now, the marketplace is the most complex and difficult business model invented by the human mind. Nothing is easy about building a marketplace. But anyway, when you look at the supply side and the demand side in a marketplace, usually it's easier to build the supply side. Okay, it's easier to have the inventory because finding the clients is much more difficult. Bonapp doesn't have this problem. The problem of Bonapp is that they don't have enough things to sell on the platform because the buyers are there. I think that this is a very happy place to be as a startup. Okay, to have the buyers lined up and you don't have enough inventory to sell to these guys. So this is why I think that now, once the processes are much more clear, once they learn from their mistake, they are on the right track towards profitability. And the main KPI for them is the break-even point towards the end of the year. In this investment climate that we live today, it's much more comfortable to raise money as a startup that's already at break-even. The investors are looking at margins. The investors are not willing to take high risks. So I think that they, once again, towards the end of the year, will be in a very good position for the next round. And maybe I'm more optimistic than the founders, which is something very unusual. But I think they will be above the 30K monthly recurring revenue they need for the break even. And I think at that moment, the valuation of the company will be even higher. So I'm bullish on Bonapp, just like they were.
Thank you so much. So now that we come towards the end of the pitch, I'd like each and every one of you to just to give a final message. What should the investors from that are looking at the pitch remember from Bonapp? I mean, what are the one sentence, or you can be longer, you can as you want. I see Grégoire, you're ready.
So on top of course, using the app that I already mentioned it, but it's super important. Again, we are a very community-oriented type of startup. So please, anyone in listening to this call right now, feel free to reach out to us directly. Let's have a call. Let's have a coffee. Let's have a walking meeting. I'm a big fan of walking meetings. I do meet walking meetings all the time. Let's meet tomorrow for a walking meeting in a nice park. Let's have a call so that we can tell you more, so that you have the big picture. And if you want to meet with the team, I mean, we are 100%. Thank you.
I'm gonna bounce on what they were saying. I think what we are the most proud of with Grégoire is the team we built, the processes. It's very strong, and we are very confident. And I thank you, Christy, for your trust. But I say we can even go even way further than 30K. It's just the first step. And for that, the core team that we created, it's the right team to address all the growth that we're gonna have in the next months.
And the final thought from me, we have a startup in which 3 VC funds invested together with a corporation, and this startup is building an app which gives people opportunity to buy food at low prices in a country like Romania. I mean, I'm bullish on such a model, honestly.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time and giving such optimism. I think in times which are somehow less optimistic, but I really thank you for taking the time, and also Gregoire and Diego for expressing your availability for future discussions. I invite any investor to also address their questions in the discussion tab or reach out to you directly. I think you're very active on social media, so they're able to reach out to you. As a short reminder, so the campaign will go live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Romanian time. And I wish you very good luck and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
And bon
Thank you so
appétit.
much.
Bon appétit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.